Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we're checking out the Lenovo Thinkpad Helix. This is their second generation Helix device, and it is a hybrid tablet laptop. So you can pull the screen off and walk away with it, or of course redock it to the keyboard. Now, the base model at $940 comes with a keyboard that is not the one you're seeing here. So this is the more expensive keyboard. They call this the Pro keyboard. This one adds about $300 to the price. So what you're seeing here with all the stuff that they put in the loaner device is probably anywhere from $1,300 to $1,500, but you can get in the door at $944 on their website at the moment. That will give you the tablet here as well as a keyboard cradle, which is a little less fancy than this one. Now, the big reason why this adds so much cost is that in addition to getting a much higher quality keyboard, a very solid feeling ThinkPad keyboard, very rugged, along with that nub here that you have grown to love or hate on the ThinkPad line. I actually kind of like it. They also give you an extra battery inside the keyboard dock here. So you get about 8 to 10 hours or so on the tablet. Again, it depends on the kind of usage that you're doing with your device. So high brightness and all the other things like gaming will certainly drain that battery faster, but you get about 8 to 10 hours on the display. The keyboard dock will give you anywhere from 2 to 4 additional hours of battery life. So you get it pretty much a laptop that's on par with other ones that are like this when you add this component to it. So there is an extra battery in here as well as a few extra ports. Now this is configured with the Intel Core M processor. I am really fond of this chip because it gives you really good performance but in a low power and fanless design. So there's no fan in here, it runs completely silent, and it performs exceptionally well. It runs a lot better than some of the other lower powered Atom chips. So this kind of fits in the middle of the Intel chip line where you've got the i3 and the i5 and the i7 at the mid to high end and the Atoms on the low end. This chip gives you all the power that you might want to save, getting with a cheaper Atom chip, but does give you the performance that's very comparable to where those other chips are. Now for video editing and things that are more intensive, you'll certainly want to go with the more expensive Intel i3, i5s, and i7s, but for a lot of what people do with a laptop like this, these Core M processors are great for that, and they don't consume all that much battery, and they don't run as hot perhaps and need a fan as you would see with some of the other higher end chips. So that is kind of the overall configuration. It's a 1.2 gigahertz Core M. This model has 8 gigabytes of RAM, although the base model has 4 gigabytes, has a 256 gigabyte SSD. The base model has 128, I believe, but all models have this 11.6 inch touchscreen, which is really, really nice to operate here. So really nice responsive screen, full 1080p display in 11.6 inches. So the screen looks very sharp. You don't see any pixels on it. It's a really, really nice looking display. And the brightness on it is really nice too. This is at the full brightness right now. I'm very happy with all of that overall. What's cool on Windows 10 is when you pop off the screen like so, it switches into that tablet mode. You can decide whether or not to have this do it automatically. I kind of like having it do that switch automatically. So you'll see when I hit the start menu now that we're in tablet mode, we get kind of that Windows 8 start menu interface. All of the tablet apps here run full screen. I can do the split screen thing like we could on Windows 8 as well, so I can move things around back and forth like this. And then when I go ahead and put it back in the keyboard dock, it recognizes that we're now back in laptop mode, and it will switch modes very quickly. I can now reposition these windows like I would with any desktop Windows computer, and I can also go ahead and hit the start menu here and get the regular Windows start menu. So when you pop it off, you get mobile tablet mode, and when you push it back in, you get back to desktop. A really nice subtle change in Windows 10 that I really like quite a bit. Let's take a look now and see what kind of ports we have on this device. Now you have ports on both the tablet and the keyboard dock if you choose this particular dock. The base model unit does not have all the ports that you're about to see on this one here. So we'll go through and step through some of the ports that are on the tablet side, which will be on all models. You have an HDMI output here, so you can plug in an external display. I believe it'll go up to 4K. I'm pretty sure all these Core M processors have that capability. You have a USB 3 port here, as well as a micro SD card slot if you wish to put in a card. If you didn't get the larger SSD, you can augment some of your storage with a card that you can stick in there. You got a volume rocker here, a headset adapter over there, and your lock and little standby buttons up here, so you can turn off and turn on the device at will that way. There is a camera for taking some rudimentary pictures, not the best camera in the world, but it is functional. There's also on the front here a front-facing camera too that you're able to do that with. I'm going to talk about this little thing in a second. That's a fingerprint reader, which is pretty cool. We're going to step through that in 1 second. Over on this side, you have another power adapter plug, and this is where you would actually plug things in if you are using the keyboard dock, because it'll charge the battery first on the keyboard, because that's how it drains. It drains out of the battery on the keyboard first, and then it switches to the tablet. When charging, it'll charge the keyboard first and then automatically switch to the tablet. So if you have the keyboard, plug your power in there. You have another USB 3 slot or port here, and you have a display port out there and a little Kensington lock too, so you can lock it down on a desk. Now, I did want to talk about how the fingerprint sensor works on here, because it actually is pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is pull up my 2-up shot here. You can see I've got my computer is locked at the moment, but all I'm going to do here is just run my finger on the back of that fingerprint sensor, just like that. Just kind of swipe it across, and it will unlock the computer for you, and you can get to work on it. So really fast way to unlock the machine, very similar to what you might see on some of the smartphones now, the iPhone and some of the Android phones now. You can also do that on here, but Lenovo and IBM before them had this fingerprint technology on here for a long period of time with these ThinkPads, and this kind of continues the tradition. You just have to slide your finger across like so, but it's been very accurate so far. All right, we're going to do our usual performance test here. We're going to go visit the New York Times first and see how fast things load up on here. So it does render the page relatively quickly, as you can see, and as I would expect actually with a Core M chip on board. So you can see the pages render quite nicely here, and we can scroll through things quite nicely. It's a very nice experience overall. The one issue though when you have this 16:9 display is that it gets a little narrow when you take it off and put it into portrait mode, but it is a nice display, as you can see, and things really do seem to scroll along here very nicely. We'll go visit my YouTube channel and see how video playback works on here, and we can go pull up my default video here. Maybe we'll go full screen with it, and we'll switch it into the 1080p mode, because we've got a 1080p display, and you can see here the video queues up very, very quickly. It plays very nicely. The color on the screen is really nice. It doesn't always come over on the camera as well as it does in person, but I can say the color is nicely balanced. It really is a nice way to watch video on here. So I think you'll do well with Netflix and other things. On the Octane test, which I run on the Chrome browser, it's a test of how well it can process JavaScript and render HTML. It actually performs quite well. 23,193 with that 1.2 gigahertz processor on board. Puts it a little bit higher than the MacBook. I may go back and test the MacBook just to see if something happened with the testing here, but performs quite well there. And it's also a little bit faster than the Lenovo Yoga 3 we looked at a little bit earlier this year, but that is running with a slower Core M processor. But you can get you an idea as to where this falls, and I'm really impressed with its Octane scores, because it is performing pretty close to where some of these i3 processors end up already. So nice performance out of a very low power chip. And we'll continue our performance tour with Microsoft Word. As you can see, things really do render quite quickly on this template that we always look at with our computer reviews, and it's just a lot faster than what you'll see with an Atom chip. As you can see here too, when I adjust this little image here and kind of get the text to wrap around, things just do respond very quickly, and that is a result of that Core M processor running under the hood. So really nice performance for getting work done, but work is not the only thing we do with our computers. We're going to take a look at Minecraft next. Here we are running the original version of Minecraft, the one that runs in Java, not the new Windows 10 edition, and we get really decent frame rates using the Optifine plugin. We're sometimes getting close to 60, usually hovering well above 30. So right now we're getting about 54 frames per second as I look around here in the scene. So really decent performance, again, out of a Core M processor. Now for heavier duty games, this is probably not the right choice, because this does not have a separate graphics processor. It is relying on the Intel graphics processors that we're seeing on a lot of these machines, so it won't get the kind of performance that you'd like to see for AAA games, all the latest ones like Grand Theft Auto and that sort of thing. But for Minecraft and games that are not heavily taxing the computer, this will do quite well, and I think it is definitely on par with some of the other Core M machines, if not a little bit faster than those are. Now, it's definitely not a lightweight machine. When you have the Pro keyboard attached, the total weight is about 3.7 pounds, so rather heavy for a Core M machine. We're seeing a lot of these machines come in at or under 2 pounds with keyboards on some of the other Lenovo devices, as well as the Apple MacBook. The tablet by itself is 1.7 pounds though, so if you want something really light and portable, you can detach it and walk away with it. Now, if you get the regular keyboard, your total weight is about 3 pounds, but again, the tablet will weigh the same no matter which configuration you choose. So pretty nice configuration overall. I'm very pleased with the performance on it. I like the way it feels. It just feels really rugged and like it really will hold up quite well, and the typing experience on it is very nice too. So if you like the ThinkPads, the bigger ThinkPads with that rugged keyboard, this is kind of the hybrid tablet version of it, and I think you might be quite pleased with it. Again, a little on the pricey side when you factor in all the different things you might want to get to bring it to this configuration, but it is a nice machine. This is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.